Howdy friends and neighbors, it's Terry talking to you again. This time I want to talk about mania and hypomania and overspending. That's basically what this video is about. It's about how those things collide and my experiences with them and my understanding of how it works on a theoretical and third-hand experience level, but mostly it'll be about first-hand experience. So, want to stick around for that? Maybe do, maybe don't. But if you don't, you know, there's some really good video channels out there. Check some of them out. Or better yet, no. Go take a walk. That's what. I think that's what we all need, is a good walk. Anyway, good walk. Some of you have been leaving some really nice comments lately, and I want to thank you very much. You've been very more supportive and nice and generous, and thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Anyway, let me give you a little backstory on how I got a little bit hypo and maybe even a little bit pure manic. I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos, but I've been on Vraylar for going on a year now, and it has been sweet. Oh, by the way, the American company who distributes the Hungary-made Vraylar product, in the last year, their stock price has doubled, more than doubled. Yeah, they got something going on there. Anyway, what the fuck is it? Okay, here we go. I go to my psychiatrist, and like I said, for the better part of a year, I've been on Vraylar, and everything's been more or less swell. And you know, you can't just keep going to the psychiatrist and going, everything's cool, everything's good, I'm making it. You know, sooner or later something human happens. I don't know. Hit a bump. I felt kind of down, had a low mood. I mentioned, he goes, how you doing? I go, well, I'm having a low mood and some other little stuff, but you know. He goes, well, I've been doing some research, and help us all when they've been doing some research. It takes a very long time for Vraylar to hit its stride, and he may be over-medicated. We might want to drop back from 4.5 to 3 milligrams, which is, you know, pretty big reduction, and put you on an antidepressant. Well, first of all, let me tell you about my history of antidepressants. They're all somewhere between bad and absolutely horrendous. And every doctor I go to, I try to convince them, hey, I should not be on antidepressants, period. None of them believe me until it happens. So the point being is, I'm riding a little bit lower than normal, so they drop my antidepressant, which keeps me from going manic, and then they shoot me up with antidepressants. So antipsychotics down here, antidepressants are up here, so I'm reaching way the hell up here. And sooner or later I'm doing some weird stuff. And so one of the things I start doing is I'm overspending like crazy. I mean, I'm just, not only am I spending money I don't have, but all of a sudden I came into some little windfall, and I'm just blowing right through it. And so finally we start getting my meds stabilized, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, holy shit, what have I done? I should have done what's this. Zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in. That's one of the things I bought that I don't need, because I sure as hell don't need a camera like this to make these fourth-rate videos. and a bunch of other stuff. Fortunately for me, I'm not the kind to fritter away stuff on that's just absolutely useless that I don't want. I mean, don't get me wrong, I acquire way too much material shit that I don't need, but none of it that truthfully I regret buying. I mean, if I had the money, that's what I would have bought anyway. But so many of us are plagued by overspending. It's my number one tip off to the fact that I may be hypomanic. I can just look at my bank account and see how much money I've been spending and pretty much go, right there. There's the hypomania starting in that week. And if you think Amazon doesn't know that I'm an insomniac, hypomanic person, their algorithms know. And that's not just me being paranoid. I mean, well, yeah, that's me being paranoid, but that doesn't mean it's not true either. Really? Are you telling me you would put that past Amazon? You're telling me they wouldn't do that because they're just that great of a company? Okay, sure. Anyway, I think a lot of us do this, and the big problem, I think, is this isn't the money. Well, it is the money when you spend the rent, you spend the groceries, and everything else. But if you've been at this a while, you've done it more than once. You've done it more than twice. You've done it enough to kind of have a contingency plan and know how to back it up. The problem is after you come down, dealing with the shame of it all. And, oh no, I'm a horrible person. What have I done? How am I going to make this up? Well, the guilt and the shame's what you got to learn to deal with and get over. And I don't have any easy way for you to tell you what to do except to remind yourself it's not just a disease, it's not just an illness. Remember, it's a disability. It's a limitation on your ability to do things. Not only do things, but keep from doing things. So, and, I don't want to sound like some Reddit communist or whatever, but in this hyper consumer, hyper capitalist society we do live in, they do encourage that sort of behavior, and they're not above milking people who have this sort of problem for all they can get. Now, am I saying that's their faults? No. I mean, if anybody, it's really, I'm not assigning fault or blame to anybody, because I lose control over the matter to some degree. I'm sure others do too. And, if they're there to capitalize on it, if it wasn't them, it'd be somebody else. But the important part is to get us control of it as soon as possible. So my recommendations are a couple of things. First of all, keep an eye on your bank account. Are you spending money just on your bills and groceries? Then you're probably doing okay. But if you start noticing things like a bunch of online purchases, a bunch of shit at gas stations, a bunch of random stuff maybe at the dollar store or whatever thing you don't usually go to, or all of a sudden a bunch of clothes or shoes or tech or what have you, you may want to go, okay, right there it is. And if you don't think you don't know, go ahead and ask your therapist or doctor or whoever it is you see for help. Or hell, just cut it out. I mean, if you know you have a problem with stuff like this, just go ahead and suspect the worst and cut it off. And maybe, if you're lucky, it wasn't that. And if it was, well, you did some damage control. Good for you. But the important part is afterward is not to panic. It's going to be okay. You're not going to starve to death. You're not going to have to sleep under interstate overpass. Not because of that one thing. Not just because you spent too much money. People who that does happen to have a lot more going on. You may lose a lot of stuff. You may have your credit go to shit. You may have to do all sorts of things. But you will get by. And two, you're just going to have to manifest a way to get over the shame and guilt that between your mind and society tries to foster on you. I don't have any really good techniques for that. How do you get over something that you're pre-programmed to think? You can try and reason your way out of it, but emotions don't really respond to reason too well. You're really just going to have to learn to be gentle on yourself and say, well, I'm trying to repair the mistakes I've made and give myself as much credit as I can for it. Anyway, I'm lucky because I'm back on the, I'm off the antidepressants, and I'm back on the 4.5 milligrams of Vraylar I'm on. And things have leveled out for me. Still have some sleep issues, but I've had those since I was a kid, so maybe they'll get better, maybe they won't. I'm seeing a sleep clinic, maybe. Anyway, maybe not, but hopefully so. So like I said, a lot of us, when we're hypomanic and manic, are prone to overspending and getting just buying a bunch of stuff for the dopamine and endorphin rush. It's just risky behavior like gambling or hypersexuality or anything else that just gives you that quick serotonin and dopamine fix. So don't beat yourself up. Don't be too hard on yourself. Keep an eye on it. Try to monitor it. Now, I've been through it many times, so I can see it when it happens. I can see it sooner than I used to could anyway. And it's easier to stop, but it's still hard to look at myself and go, that just happens, man. Do what you can with it and move on. Anyway, I got a bunch of other topics I want to talk about later, mental health and dental stuff, and dental health, because it turns out that's a huge problem for a lot of us. Dental health and mental health tend to be fucked up hand in hand. So anyway, don't forget to tell our Google overlords that they can go shove all their buttons up their butt. But if you do have anything you want to pass on to other people who may be watching, put it in the comments, because I've read some of them and they've been useful to me, and I think they've been useful to others. A lot of us, we need, even if it's just the validation of somebody going, hey, I've got through that too. You're not alone in that. That helps out. So anyway, take care of other people if you can. And be sure to take care of yourself. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.